Good evening and welcome to a brand new series titled Diplomatic Faces. It's great to be on the program after a long time. We have as our first guest on the program His Excellency Kenichi Suganuma, the Japanese ambassador in Sri Lanka. The reason we have started the series with the Japanese ambassador.
Thank you for inviting me as a guest.
Your Excellency, Japan and Sri Lanka have maintained very warm and friendly ties during this past 65 years. As a traditional friend and supporter of Japan, you know very well that Sri Lanka played a crucial role at the San Francisco conference. How do you look at the current Japanese-Sri Lanka relations?
Well, I would say the relation is excellent. As you said, we had a very good relation even before the war. There was exchange through Buddhism and etc. But after the war, Sri Lanka played a crucial role in having Japan come back to the international community, and since then we have tried to support Sri Lanka's development all along. We also worked through the conflict era, a difficult era, but now with the new government we are also trying to deepen even more the relation and widen the relations in many ways. And we are working on many projects. We are working on private investment. We are working on maritime security issues. We are supporting the reconciliation process. So all that is working as a comprehensive partner. And I would say the relation is excellent now.
Now it's almost 65 years since diplomatic relations started between the two countries. Over these 65 years, our bilateral relations have grown enormously. Today, Japan and Sri Lanka enjoy multifaceted ties, underpinned by shared strategic experiences and perspectives. Your Excellency, what more should be done to deepen the existing cordial relationship between the two countries?
Well, I think there are a lot to be done. I think we basically, as you said, are sharing common values and common objectives. So now it is really the stage where we need to implement many of the projects of official development assistance or private investments. There are many Japanese companies which are becoming to be interested in Sri Lanka. So we need to make sure that these projects becomes a reality. And of course, we need to work hard to try to coordinate, to make sure that the implementation is smooth. So that is one thing we can do. And then I think we need to look at the future area of cooperation. I think we have a great potential in the South Asian region. Sri Lanka wishes to become the hub of the Indian Ocean, and we can certainly try to support that. And even beyond that, there are many things we can do. We can also work together to widen the exchange of culture, exchange of people. We can see more Japanese tourists coming here, so we can work more on that. And so there are many areas we can work
What
together.
about sport, Your Excellency?
That is also a very good area of cooperation. We will have the Tokyo Olympics in 2020.
Yes.
And actually, there will be one judo player from Sri Lanka who is traveling soon to Japan to be trained, hopefully to become one of the contestants in the Tokyo Olympics. And also in many areas there was a soccer youth tournament that was held in Sri Lanka, to which Japan participated. Swimming and badmintons, rugby, exactly. The World Cup will be held in 2019. That is 1 year before the Tokyo Olympic in Japan. So I'm sure Sri Lanka is competing to participate to that, and we are looking very much forward to cooperation in that field too.
What about trade and investment, cultural exchange? These are areas that we have been working very closely. Very significant developments have been made. Any comments you would like to make?
Yes, well, as I said, there are many Japanese companies now interested in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka needs to increase foreign investment. You cannot always rely on debt from foreign countries. So
that has been one of the key objectives of this government also,
exactly,
to attract FDIs.
Exactly. So we need to work together to improve the investment climate. And actually there are many projects that has been proposed. So we want to make sure that this project becomes a reality. You mentioned trade. In the last 10 years, there was a 40% increase of trade between the two countries. I think there are many areas where we can work and try to increase. There are some products like virgin coconut oil,
right,
which is becoming very popular in Japan. So we need to look at new areas of trade. There are many IT specialists from Sri Lanka that is working with Japanese companies. And as you said, tourism. There are also more Sri Lankan tourists to Japan also. So it's a both-way exchange. We can work on that. Culture, I think we need to go beyond the traditional culture. We have, and we will continue to introduce Japanese culture. Oshin has been broadcast in Rupavini. Actually, the actress just came this year. But we have begun to introduce new programs from Japan, also to Rupavini, to allow people to see how modern Japan is. And many young people are interested in Japanese manga, cartoon, or animation. So this is another aspect of cultural exchange that we can work on. So there are many areas we can work on.
Your Excellency, Sri Lanka has been a priority aid recipient in the region for Japan, and it has received lots of assistance, grant aid, technical cooperation, loans. The bulk of all external aid to this island nation has been given by Japan. You took a back seat possibly in the last 5 or 6 years. Now we see a resurgence. Any particular reason for the interest in Sri Lanka once again?
Yes. Well, actually, Sri Lanka has now become almost a middle-income country with the per capita GDP reaching $4,000 US dollars. So it will soon be a country which can self-finance for the development, but we still see some gaps. Particularly, one of them is that the ratio of export to GDP has not grown over the more than 10 years. So for Sri Lanka economy, which needs to import raw material or energy, you need to boost the exports. So this is one area we are focusing to improve the infrastructure which can lead to export. Another area is area where there are vulnerability in the society, like the disasters. Management or some support for the underprivileged.
You're currently working on a program to do that.
Yes, disaster.
After the two disasters of the floods.
Yes. We have sent teams and we have made some proposal, and we have also already begun with for the rain monitoring, the provision of two Doppler radar that allows to real-time monitoring of the rainfall, and then you can tell people to evacuate here. And
what is the advance warning that is possible?
Well, it depends on the case, but now the problem is that often there is a very heavy torrential rain focused in one area. So if you can detect and when there is a threshold of waterfall that is being surpassed, then you can immediately say it could be dangerous, so please evacuate. Now you have also warning, but it's too wide. So you say, people in Hanbantota, please evacuate, but no, it's not that everyone can evacuate. So with the Doppler radar, you can have a very fine area, and you can see how much rainfall has been accumulated. Then after a threshold, you can say, people in this area, please evacuate. So this.
How long will it take to have this in the country?
I think 1 or 2 years to have it, and then, of course, people have to be trained for utilizing this, and hopefully, if you connect this with the new digitalization of the broadcast, we are also working on, and Rupavahini broadcast will be also digitalized. There will be a system where even if the TV is put on standby, if you send a message, the TV will be on automatically, and the warning about evacuation will be transmitted and displayed. So this is one of the advantages of our system, and we have that in Japan. So I hope that will be adopted here too. Yeah.
Our Prime Minister, the Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe, was in Japan and spoke in Japanese Parliament in the presence of Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and where he called for Japan's support to hold a summit for social and economic development of the North and East for reconstruction and development. Could you elaborate on the Japanese government's assistance in meeting with the post-conflict development challenges in the North and East?
Well, overcoming the effect of conflict in the North and the East is an important task for Sri Lanka to address for the future of Sri Lanka, and we are fully supporting that. We have done, and we are also continuing to do many rehabilitation programs in the north and east. As you know, we are supporting the demining programs. We have supported reconstruction of many of the bridges, etc. We are going to soon start a big program for rural connectivity and irrigation and water in the north, east, and Uva and north central province. In these four provinces, which was mainly affected by the conflict. It consists of subsidiary roads, irrigation, water supply, sewage, etc. And as you know, many of the main roads is now completed, but if you go inside in small community, the tanks are left dilapidated, etc. So we will go and work to rehabilitate that. We are also supporting the process of national reconciliation, so the constitution discussion. Of course, we are not part of it, but we said we can offer anytime technical support or legal support, and we have had several discussions on that.
Sri Lanka's economic growth could pick up in 2017. It's on the road to recovery on the back of a reform program supported by the International Monetary Fund. What lessons can we learn from Japan?
Well, as I mentioned, for an island country like Japan and Sri Lanka, we have to import natural resources. People have to work hard to produce something that is to add value to that, and then export. Otherwise, we cannot be self-sufficient. And Japanese companies have worked very hard after the war to do that. Now I think people know about Japanese product as being high quality, but it was not necessarily like that after the war. Actually, the first car we exported to the US, everyone laughed at it, saying, how this kind of car can go on a US highway. That was 50 years ago, and so. But they have worked hard, and now we have reached some quality level. So I think there's a lot of potential for Sri Lanka. Some of the manufacturing factory management system that we are calling 5S are being very well adapted by Sri Lankan factories, textile, etc.
And it has worked very well for them.
Exactly. So these are the kind of thing we can share, and that will be one of the key for future Sri Lankan development.
Your Excellency, what about Buddhism? We have a very common link,
yes,
common thread with Buddhism. So how do you envisage to bridge that link using the religion?
Mm-hmm. Well, of course, religion is not something the government can force, but as you said, the relation through the religion, through Buddhism, has started in the 19th century with Dharmapala coming to Japan many times, and it left a deep impression and inspiration to many Japanese Buddhists and also to other intellectuals too. So we should try to create an environment where this relation can continue. Actually, there are many Japanese Buddhist sects who are doing work here, supporting the community, etc. And we very much welcome them. Some of them are doing cultural exchange, and we also welcome them. Some of them are doing national reconciliation programs with youth. So we are going to continue to support them.
On a personal note, to say that one would prefer to stay in his own country is a good sentiment, but from a non-sentimental perspective, if I may ask you, which country would you like to reside in after retirement?
Besides Japan?
Yeah, besides Japan.
Well, Sri Lanka, I would be very happy to stay here. Well, at least I hope I can stay as long as possible as ambassador. I'm very pleased here, and there's a lot of work to do, so I hope I can stay a little bit more. But even after, I think we are very much enjoying the beautiful country and the people who are very much friendly to Japan, and the nature, the animals, etc. So we will be very pleased to spend our post-retirement in Sri Lanka.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Thank you for affording us this opportunity to
Thank you for the invitation.
Sharing this half an hour, 25 minutes with us. We wish you a very happy stay in this country.
Thank you.
And we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you.